You know your dad needs assisted living. You've toured a few and think you've found the one. But on each of these tours, they happily talked about their happy hours, and your dad hasn't had a drink in 30 years. Or your mom has Alzheimer's and keeps asking for her wine with dinner, but she can't have alcohol with her medications, and she's getting really upset every night. I'm your host, Valerie Borgman, and this week we're talking about alcohol in senior living.
Welcome to Desperately Seeking Senior Living, a podcast for sons, daughters, grandkids, and spouses who suddenly find themselves tangled in the search for senior living and care. If you like today's episode, don't forget to subscribe and check out our doable download in today's show notes for a printable summary of the show and a bonus tip from our guest.
You're listening to our doable tips, short answers to your questions. Don't see your question listed? Send us a note. Then don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an answer. Hi, and welcome to the show. Whether it's recovering alcoholics, medications, memory care, or even independence, alcohol is something that can be an issue in senior living. So today, we're going to talk about each of these situations. Let's start with the tough one, recovering alcoholics. I worked with a family whose father was a recovering alcoholic, and it had been decades since he had had a drink. They really worried that moving him into assisted living, where he would be invited to happy hour, could be too tempting for him. Another family's father had early Alzheimer's and had been making comments about having a beer, almost as though he was forgetting that he doesn't drink anymore. His memory loss was at a stage where he qualified for assisted living. It was okay for him to live in that environment, but that also meant those happy hours and trips to the grocery store where he could purchase whatever he wanted. And on a side note, we actually have an episode about folks with early Alzheimer's being able to qualify for assisted living before they move to memory care, and I'll put a link to that in show notes. So, what is the standard for assisted living communities or adult family homes when there's alcohol involved and your loved one might really be struggling with this? Well, the hard fact is that most senior living communities will not say no to a resident in this situation, nor will they be able to monitor groceries and what your mom and dad chooses to buy. Residents have rights, and that includes a right to consume or purchase alcohol. Now, the community may have rules surrounding happy hour, like a 2-drink maximum, but that's the extent of it. It is possible to find an assisted living community that has the ability to do more of this monitoring, but be very clear about exactly what your expectations are because it can be really difficult when you're talking about so many different staff members and so many different residents. Some assisted living communities do offer on site counseling, but ultimately, this type of environment is not the same as an in house recovery program and shouldn't be treated as one. So, what are you supposed to do? Is there a situation that would be safer? And what about memory care? Well, yes, there is a situation where there can be a more close monitoring of alcohol, and that is both the residential care home and memory care. Both are more intimate care, and they have the ability to monitor intake and those purchases more closely. For example, in both of these settings, alcohol most often must be doctor ordered. Let me say that again. Yes, your dad or your mom's doctor actually prescribes alcohol. We worked with a family whose father's doctor ordered 1 shot of whiskey per night when requested. The family just purchased his favorite whiskey and kept it on hand at the home. In a memory care setting, for those who have passed a certain stage of memory loss and may not realize that the glass of juice served to them in a wine glass isn't wine, can be a great strategy for filling that desire for a drink in a safe way. Now, I want to pause here to say that A doctor would not be prescribing alcohol if it was going to interfere with medications, which is, of course, one of the risk factors for consuming alcohol in any senior living setting, even when staying at home. So now let's talk about independence. Your mom loves to have a glass of wine with dinner. A lot of people do. But again, most senior living communities and adult family homes or residential care homes do not serve alcohol. Sure, they have their weekly happy hour, but you're not going to find your favorite Pinot on the menu in the dining room. A few weeks ago, one of our clients had this exact question. What about mom's wine? Does she have to give that up? And in their case, the answer was no. The community allows their residents to bring their favorite drinks to dinner. No matter the reason for your concern, ask your senior living community about their policy on alcohol. Work with your doctors and make a plan if it's a question of health, medications, or memory care. And this question of independence is so important. Just because you need assisted living or decide to move to retirement living, it shouldn't mean you have to give up your favorite wine.
Today's episode is brought to you by ClearPath Senior Living Solutions. ClearPath helps families find assisted living, memory care, and other resources. Find our contact information in today's show notes. Check out this episode's doable download in show notes for details, including industry terms and definitions we discussed, as well as a bonus tip from our guest. Have questions or your own tips to share? Leave us a message. We'd love to hear from you. And until next time, make it doable.